leading back onto the whole like competitive league and like all
Mhm.
the big time streamers and the way they stream. Have you ever thought about getting into the leagues or trying that out for a little bit?
Yeah, so when I was 17, 18, I left college, we'll say, at 17,
Yeah,
and started gaming a lot. Wanted to kind of, push the amateur to pro scene. Thought I was good enough to do so. I'm not saying that my parents didn't support me because they always have, but I think my dad's quite old school in the sense of like he always said to me, "You're a white collar guy," so he saw me at an office job, like behind a desk, finance, lawyer, something like that. So um, you kind of, as a son to your dad, kind of want to take that advice and you want to do that. And also, it is a big risk. And I was probably fearful then as well of going for it because if you didn't make it, then there's that you're just not good enough.
yeah,
But so I started pushing for it. I used to play a lot of kind of like MLG when it was prominent back in the day. Actually got to a point where on, I think it was Advanced Warfare, me and three teammates, we ranked quite well on the winter season to the point where we were going to attend our first LAN. And then two of my teammates were deemed as minors and were under the age of 18. So I must have just turned 18 or 19 for that title. And they couldn't compete. And it kind of was just like
yeah. That's quite
well,
unfortunate.
Yeah, what did you
yeah.
learn then?
Yeah, and it was like, do you go find two new people and try and rebuild a chemistry? Do you wait for them to turn of age? As you see in the pro scene, whilst talent stays, the rankings of how good you are at a title change each COD. So I'm a big
Mhm.
Treyarch fan over IW. Like I enjoy Infinity Ward, but Treyarch games are kind of where I feel I excel, which is why you see me predominantly playing Rebirth because it was originally from Black Ops 4, which is a Treyarch um, developed game, and I've just kind of been better at their modes, ironically, even though Advanced Warfare wasn't one of theirs. So really wanted to. I do have plans in the future to kind of try and compete again, maybe in amateur tournaments, and if I prove to do well enough, or find a duo or partners, if I play in a larger team that want to kind of push on more, then I'll definitely be into that. It's again finding not only right team chemistry, people that are kind of a similar ability and whatnot. And I think the hardest thing for me is, for those that don't know, I do have a bit of an ego. Um, I'm someone who likes to be an in-game leader, so um, I like to make the call outs in game. So where we should rotate to or what we should push, as opposed to I'm not very good at receiving that information.
It's just one of those like, natural character traits. You take on that
Mhm.
leadership position.
Yeah, and I've been told that kind of like growing up in my life as well, that I'm a natural leader. Now people can disagree or agree with that. I'm only going off of, some people have said that to me in my employment at the bank and stuff. And you'll be a good leader one day. You just kind of got to develop into it. So, and I think that comes across in my streams or my gameplays when I'm making the call outs and rotations. And sometimes you'll find a really good teammate who's very good at the game, but they also want to be what we call an IGL, an in-game leader. And then you're both trying to make call outs, and
It
then
comes to clash, doesn't
you're, yeah,
it?
and it's like you're wrong, no, you're wrong, and it's like, it's one, not good content, and two, it can get quite toxic, not deliberately or intentionally, but it's just because you both want to be the shot caller and you can't, so you have to find people that kind of naturally flow with that and get there, and that's something that I'm self-aware of, and I'm working
Mhm.
on every day as well.
Yeah,
You say
I
about the competitive leagues and whatever. I saw a few, well, maybe a few months ago now. You played an Epic game. Epic Plays is a sort of
Mhm.
custom tourney thing. How was
Yeah.
that? That was sort of a taste of sort of the standard, really, wasn't it? Of what
Yeah,
it would.
so especially on Rebirth, Epic is number one in the world for wins on Rebirth. I met him on Black Ops 4 through Rage Quit, and some of the other guys, and we're still close. We play together occasionally, and it's an absolute tear up. But playing that was a start, kind of like, this is the standard you're at. It's not an excuse. The two boys I played with had never played. I think they'd played 10 games of Rebirth ever between them, so there was no map knowledge there, or kind of like rotations and where people like to drop, etc. And I think we held our own. I think out of, was it 16 or 18 teams, I think we just hit in the top half. And on that night we all had a game each where we went crazy, but we just didn't find a game where all three of us are kind of popped off at the same time. So, and that's what you need, you know. But enjoyed it thoroughly, and it puts the pressure on, and it's tense, and it makes for a different kind of, you know, changing gears, so to speak, as opposed to kind of just cruising through a lobby while you're having a laugh and chatting. It's a lot more strategic.
Yeah.
When we first started to kind of recognise you back in probably October, November time, that's when most of us became familiar with you. You were quite into Warzone, and then since they released Rebirth as well, you've popped off on there really. Do you prefer either one, or are you still kind of in between the two?
So I definitely prefer Rebirth purely because of, so a lot of people disagree with me when I say it's a faster paced game. So by a faster pace, I mean, so when I used to play and I was trying to play competitively, I was always a SMG player, a sub player. So my gunfights were always close range interactions. Warzone is a lot more long distance. You need to be able to control your recoil, map rotations, holding the zone. So like gatekeeping, obviously you hear quite frequently, and that's where you sit inside the zone and shoot people that are running away from the gas or whatever it's called in other games such as Fortnite. And in Rebirth or Alcatraz, it's kind of like it's just constant. I end a gunfight and I'm immediately into my next one, and I like that. I think it keeps your shot a lot hotter. You know, your reflexes have to be more on point. Understanding minimap, teammates, where they are, and your communication. But also the thing that put me off a lot with Warzone was a big crux of the public side of multiplayer on Call of Duty, where the Call of Duty community can be quite toxic in the sense, in my opinion, of kill death ratio determines how good you are. I've never sat down, played a game of Monopoly, had $3,000 halfway through the game of Monopoly, lost the game of Monopoly, and been happy with the outcome. If you're not winning the game, I don't care how many kills you've got. What's the point in dropping a 40 bomb and coming third? Someone beat you. Someone beat you. And I don't care whether you say that, all right, if they were sitting in a bush and it was the first kill of the game, yes, it's not entertaining. Yes, I don't have fun playing like that. I don't sit in a bush. But I lose my head if I have 20, 30 kills and I don't win the game, because it's all that effort and all that concept for nothing. So, and I think Warzone very much went that way with the kill races and such. Now, from an entertainment standpoint, as a streamer, God, if you drop in 20, 30, 40 kills a game, people love that and it's exciting. But that's why I tend to prefer Rebirth, because I can put up big kills and win the game. Whereas on Warzone, you'll have a team that come in and ultimately don't care about, you know, they'll challenge you in the middle of the gas or while you're both trying to escape gas for you both to die for what, a couple of extra kills.
Yeah.
Or
I'm
they're
not
sat in
interested.
one building all the time waiting for the circle
Yeah.
to go on stuff like that, and it's just not entertaining.
Yeah, so
I'm
that's
the
why I
same
prefer it.
with you. Yeah.
I think where Rebirth is, I mean, I run the same route on Rebirth a lot of the time. If you've ever seen my streams, it can become repetitive, but it's constant and fast paced. Whereas on Warzone, they need to change it up. What have they done? They've closed a few bunkers, opened a silo, and dropped zombies on one part of the map. Like Call of Duty. If
and
you ever do watch this,
hackers now is just it's tremendous. The
Yeah.
amount of hackers, and they say I don't know what your opinion is on it, but they say they make fixes and they make bans, but it ruins the game, like you say, when you've spent a game getting like 20, 30 kills, and for the final two teams to be hacking on you.
yeah,
It's quite downing, really.
it is frustrating. And I was watching an Optic YouTube video, and apparently, I think it was Hitch said that he spoke to someone who spoke to someone, or it might have been Maven, has said that they literally built the game whereby they actually cannot implement an auto anti-cheat, which is why everything's manual review. They've built the game with the literal inability to put in an anti-cheat. Now, whether that's fact or not, I don't know. That's just something I've heard from doing my own research and watching podcasts similar to this. It's like you've literally built a game that's man. I've had friends shadow banned. So shadow ban is where you've temporarily been banned, where you get put in lobbies with other hackers or other people that are on the suspect list, and until your report is reviewed manually, you sit in that lobby and you wait, and you have to play poor games, or you can't queue and you can't. And what's the point in that? Which is why I also believe that no matter how much I play Call of Duty and how big I grow, I'll probably never be a Call of Duty partner, purely because I will advocate for what I believe as opposed to what a company tells me. And that's why you'll hear me quite frequently say, if you don't like the fact that there are hackers in game, if you don't like the fact they don't fix the bugs or the glitches, stop spending your money on in-game purchases. It's a free game, and apparently they've made hundreds of millions. How
Yeah.
has a free game made hundreds of millions
Yeah.
when all people do is criticize it? Operators, they look so cool, but you don't see your operator for 95% of the time because
Yep.
it's a first-person shooter. Like camos, I can kind of understand the guns in your hand. Does it make a difference to how you play? No. Is it nice to have? Yes. Do Activision deserve my money? No, not if they can't fix the basics. That's my personal opinion, you know.